Hello, this is Sirrano Baldeo from Christian Heritage Talk. Today, I want to talk to you about, is the church hurting you? Is your church hurting you? Are you going to church and it's hurting you? You're still smoking, you're still drinking, you're still doing drugs. You're still, getting into trouble. You still can't get your way out of your darkness. You're still depressed. You're still depressed. You feel like nothing is changing. And you're going to church. You go to church, you meet Jim, you meet Mary, you meet John, you meet David, and you are still going through what you're going through. And the question is the church hurting you? Is going to church hurting you? So let's find out. So Jesus comes along in Matthew chapter 5:20, and he says, "For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no way enter into the kingdom of heaven." You are not going to enter the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven, first to get in, it's got to change you. You have got to change to be recognized with it. But that's not happening. You go to church and you're getting hurt. You're still hurt. You're still smoking. You're still drinking. You can't get those things out of you. Why can't you get those things out of you? Because remember when Jesus said, when an evil spirit leaves a person and it comes back and it's empty go back and finds itself 7 more demons worse than itself comes back inside of you. So you go to church, right? And in that church, maybe you get 20 minutes, right, of worship, if at all. And then maybe you get 45 minutes to an hour with their teaching. Okay? If I can pull that up. No, that's not teaching. So, 20 minutes of worship, hour teaching, and then you go back home. And in your back home, guess what happens? You're back to your old self. Your character, your personality. I'm talking about 90% of you. I'm not talking about the 10% that goes and takes notes and worship and throughout the day and the week you're always there. I'm talking about the 90% of people, especially in the Catholic Church, and some of the churches I've been to, you go, you feel, I'm telling you, the worship has just been amazing in some of the churches that I go through. I feel so good in the worship. And then after that, I get the message there's black churches, there's white churches here, there's different styles. And sometimes you get this powerful message where the teacher, he just kind of starts off really, really slow. And then he goes up and he just blasts off with this teaching. And you're like, whoa, this guy is great. And then you walk out, same dead spirit. What happened back there in that church stayed in that church. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in the church stays in the church. And you leave the church and nothing has changed. And you want to know why. No, you probably never would even ask yourself why. Because you think you're okay. Hey, I'm okay, right? I'm in church. I wear my cross. I say I'm a Christian, so I'm good. I'm ready to go to heaven. No, you're not going to heaven. Except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no case, this is Jesus, no case enter into the kingdom of God. The Jesus you refuse to listen to, the Jesus you refuse to know. You are not getting into the kingdom of heaven until you exceed that righteousness. Well, what is the righteousness, Sirrano? Well, the righteousness is this. The scribes and the Pharisees, they were teachers of the law. They were learners and teachers of the law. They were lawyers of the law. Just like these guys go to school for 4 years to be a lawyer, pass the bar. You have to do that here. And he's not talking to the pastors. He's talking to you and I. Your righteousness have to exceed that righteousness. Your learning have to exceed the learning of these lawyers of the law. You're not even there. That's why a lot of you are in church. You can't even help Jesus Christ extend his kingdom. You can't do that because you're struggling with the drugs and the smoking and the drinking and the personal problems, and you hate your job and all this stuff is happening to you. And if you smoke marijuana, you shoot yourself up. Whatever's happening to you is not changing. It's not changing. You have to change. The word has to get inside of you and change you. Change you. These churches are not doing that. That's why I said it's time to quit the church. Because they're not doing that. You go, you get a Sunday fix, and they are trained. They're trained to make the church a business. First, they got to get money from you. That's the first thing they're trained to do, get money from you. The second thing is come up with a curriculum. The curriculum first is talk about a funny story or talk about something about their family, make it personal so that they can get you involved in the church. Some churches have events and activities, which is okay. But no, the scriptures have to get inside of you to change you. That's why in John it says, First John, the Word is God. God is the Word. The Word became life. The Word became the light of God. The Word became Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ put the life inside of you in the Word. The Word. You listen to all these gurus, Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, who else? Cardone, all these women preachers. What do you think you listen to them for? You listen to them because you're looking for a word. You're looking for them to tell you something. When you have it, you have the gospel. The word is right there. Read it. Take it in. Put it inside of you. The Bible is a law book. It's a law book for your spirit. It is a law book for your spirit. You don't need to spend money on another book. Unless maybe it's like time management and academic stuff. Yeah, you read that kind of stuff. And if you get something from something else. But the Word of God will change your spirit. It will change your mind. It will change your heart. It will change your soul. So if you're drinking, if you're smoking, you're doing drugs, you can't get along with your spouse, you're fighting with people, you have a bad spirit, you're just there to antagonize others, you can't get along in your workspace, the Word comes in you and makes you think differently. I will think differently because the Word said different. I can't respond this way. I can't act this way. I can't act that way because the Word is telling you what to do. It becomes life. It becomes you. And then you change. You're a different person. And that's what they're not teaching you. These guys are not supposed to be teachers. The Word is supposed to be the teachers, and that is on you. You cause that. You do this to yourself. I'm going to tell you how. When Jesus went into the church, synagogue, and tossed over all those money changers that they had, and everybody was selling doves and all that kind of stuff. When he tossed all that stuff over, you know what he said? Those that sold and those that bought, both got it. Read it. Read it when he tossed that over. They that sold and they that bought. They that are telling you stuff in the church, and your responsibility is to learn it before you go on there. It's your job to learn this gospel. It's your job to change your life. And no matter what they tell you in that church and take your money and do their curriculum so you can return and they can keep that going, no matter what they tell you, you are responsible for you. Adam said to God, it was the woman. It was the pastor. He didn't tell me the right thing. Remember Adam blamed Eve? You can blame the pastor. He didn't teach me how to learn this Bible. He didn't teach me and he didn't tell me the truth that I have to exceed the righteousness of the law and learn all of it. He didn't tell me that. Adam told God, this woman that you put in my life, this pastor that you put in my life. No. God punished Adam just the same. You should have known better. You should know better. That this gospel is supposed to change you. Better than the scribes, better than the Pharisees, the lawyers of the law. You are supposed to be greater than the lawyers of the law. But you go there, you give them your money, you go home, and you come back out with the same problem. If you are coming back out of that church with the same problem, let me tell you what you need to do. You need to quit that church. That's what you need to do. If you go in there and you come out with the same problems, with the same issue, every single, it's like Tony Robbins and all these other guys, you write a book, then you write another book, and then another book, and you're 16 books in, and you have not changed. This is you. This is on you. You need to pick up that gospel. Let me tell you something in closing about that gospel. Jesus, in the sower and the seed, tells the story. And the first thing that happens when you pick up that gospel, the devil, he calls it the wicked one, will come and snatch it from you. Here's how he does it. You spend all your day distracted, okay? And then you come along, and then you pick up the Bible, and you figure, hey, you know what? I'm going to start reading the gospel, you know? This is my obligation to Jesus Christ. And as soon as you pick it up, you start falling asleep. As soon as you pick it up, you start dozing off. As soon as you pick it up, you got tired. As soon as you pick it up, you get frustrated. That's what Jesus was trying to tell you. He's trying to tell you the wicked one is going to come, get into your head, get into your spirit, get into your life, and snatch it away. So instead of letting Satan come in and snatch that, because this is a spiritual battle at this point, say to yourself the truth. I know that Satan is going to come and take this gospel away from me when I try to read it. That's the sow and the seed. The very first thing that's going to happen. So I'm going to set aside an hour every day, at least an hour, to read this when I'm not tired, when I'm not going to sleep. So if I go to sleep at 11, I'm going to make sure at 9 o'clock to 8, 10 o'clock I read this. 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I'm going to use my lunch break. Whatever it takes, I'm going to beat the devil and please Jesus Christ. That's your obligation. So you have to be doing. So stop waiting on them. And if going to church is hurting you and not getting you into that gospel and your preacher is not telling you that, time to quit the church. This is Sirrano, Keith Baldeo, Christian Heritage Talk. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to save this. And we'll give you some more videos. This is a big issue. This is the biggest issue. We're going to come back to this a lot of times. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.